Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany held her second press briefing yesterday. You might remember that Donald Trump's previous press secretary, Stephanie Grisham, held 0.0 press briefings during her entire time as press secretary. Kayleigh McEnany did one, I believe it was Friday, and she did one yesterday. Now, in her first one, she famously pledged not to lie to the press. Then she told four major lies, two related to the Russia investigation, one related to ventilators, and one related to Michael Flynn. So in about 3 minutes, she broke her pledge not to lie. Yesterday, 12 seconds into the press briefing, she lied by claiming that the U.S. is doing the most testing merely by saying we've done 7 million tests. Of course, as you all know, what matters is per capita in a country of 331 million people. Now, the last time that we covered her press briefings, I pointed out the press corps needs to ask her about that time she went on Fox News in February and said Trump will never allow coronavirus to come to the United States. Here's what she said back in February.
Absolutely. This president will always put America first. He will always protect American citizens. We will not see diseases like the coronavirus come here. We will not see terrorism come here. And isn't that refreshing when contrasting it with the awful presidency of President Obama?
Kayleigh McEnany, thank you so much. Good to see you tonight.
Thank you.
Now, to his credit, Jeff Mason from Reuters yesterday asked her about exactly those comments. Here is how she handled it. She turned to a particular page in her notebook. She knew the question might show up. She was prepared. Here's how she addressed it.
You worked for the campaign, and you made a comment, I believe, on Fox, in which you said President Trump will not allow the coronavirus to come to this country. Given what has happened since then, obviously, would you like to take that back?
Well, first, let me note, I was asked a question on Fox Business about the president's travel restrictions. I noted what was the intent behind those travel restrictions, which is we will not see the coronavirus come here. We will not see terrorism come here, referring to an earlier set of travel restrictions. I guess I would turn the question back on the media and ask similar questions. Does Vox want to take back that they proclaim that the coronavirus would not be a deadly pandemic? Does the Washington Post want to take back that they told Americans to get a grip, the flu is bigger than the coronavirus? Does the Washington Post likewise want to take back that our brains are causing us to exaggerate the threat of the coronavirus? Does the New York Times want to take back that fear of the virus may be spreading faster than the virus itself? Does NPR want to take back that the flu was a much bigger threat than the coronavirus? And finally, once again, the Washington Post, would they like to take back that the government should not respond aggressively to the coronavirus? I'll leave you with those questions, and maybe you'll have some answers in a few days.
Kayleigh,
Thank you very much.
What's so funny about this is that she clearly feels like that was a huge mic drop moment where she walks off after turning it back around on the press. It's actually cringeworthy, and the entire thing was cringeworthy. She may not last long because it's getting more and more embarrassing. Now, the Trumpists seem to be liking it. That's what might keep her in the job. She starts the briefing 35 minutes late. It lasts only 25 minutes total. After taking only a few questions, she abruptly walks off after being asked about a completely laughable, ridiculous thing that she said. But the Trumpists love it. Don Jr. tweeted yesterday saying her answer was fire. And a whole bunch of Trumpists are just thrilled with Kayleigh McEnany. So let's analyze her argument. She said Trump won't let coronavirus come to the United States. And she responds by saying, listen, a lot of media outlets said this is not going to be a big deal in the United States. That's a terrible argument. Number one, it's not really an argument. It's actually the tu quoque fallacy, which is the appeal to hypocrisy is another way to say it, which is when you try to discredit your opponent's argument about something you did by pointing out that someone else did the same thing. And that it's fallacious, strictly speaking. How can the media criticize her when they said similar things, supposedly, is the way the argument goes? Now, first of all, when the media was saying this may not be a big deal in the United States, the media was reporting what different medical experts were saying, many of whom were people that were involved with the Trump administration. And so one thing to understand is a lot of the articles she's quoting are articles that are essentially citing the medical experts that the Trump administration picked to say things about coronavirus. That's number one. It's not like the media reports when you look at independent and foreign experts, were not saying this would be a big deal. In fact, you can look at January and February and find a whole bunch of media reports that are not based on what Trump affiliated medical experts were saying. If you look at foreign countries, if you look at independent agencies in the US, they were saying, we could take actions that would prevent this, but if we don't, it's going to be a disaster. So she's actually wrong about that. And a lot of the reports that she cites were simply saying, here's what someone associated with the administration says is going to happen. She didn't say, here's what an expert says. She simply said, Trump won't allow the virus to come here. So she made a very different type of claim when she went on Fox News and said, Obama's presidency was awful. Trump's not going to allow it to come here. That was not, these are the medical experts alleging that. Now, secondly, none of those media people who were simply reporting what was being said were hired to be Trump's press secretary, right? The question about her competence is a very valid and good question because she was hired to be Trump's press secretary. Some Vox writer who quoted a health expert who may have been wrong or may have been taken out of, or whatever, they are not now speaking for the president. But clearly what she has done is show her hand. She is very much willing to attack the media. She is prepared to attack the media whenever she gets a question she doesn't like, very much like Donald Trump does. That's what we've learned. Make sure you're following The David Pakman Show on Instagram at David Pakman Show. We'll be back very soon. Privacy.com is one of our sponsors, and they're giving you $5 just for using their free service at privacy.com/Pakman. Privacy is a service I've been using for a while now. I love it. It saves me a bunch of headaches. It's completely free, and it's very quick to set up. And here's how it works. When you pay for something online or over the phone, instead of exposing your real credit card number, Privacy lets you generate virtual card numbers. The payments are withdrawn from your checking account, but your real card number stays completely private, and you do it all with one click. You can autofill the card number in your web browser, on the phone. You can create 12 virtual cards a month. You can set spending limits, freeze them, delete them whenever you want. I especially love it for free trials where you need to give a credit card number because I can destroy the virtual card number as soon as I give it to the company, and I know I won't be charged in the future. If you're ordering food over the phone, why do I need to give a restaurant my real card number if I don't have to? Companies don't have to know who you are. Your real credit card number is protected from the data breaches that happen, unfortunately, more often than we would like, and it's completely free. They do have a paid version with different tiers where you can create more virtual credit card numbers per month, cashback rewards, extra security features. But go ahead and sign up for the free service. It's a no-brainer. Companies can't charge you unexpectedly. You're protected from identity theft. It costs you nothing. And Privacy is giving you $5 to spend just for signing up when you go to privacy.com/Pakman.